And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and allow the panelists to introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start with Jackie first.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jackie. I'm from Orange County, California. I'm majoring in political science, and I transferred from Santa Monica College.
Hello, my name is Isabella Mondragon. I transferred from Glendale Community College. I graduated a while back. Thank you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Calix. I'm a transfer from Mount San Antonio College, which is in SoCal by LA. I'm gonna be graduating next year. So yeah, welcome to today.
Thank you all. We're going to start with the first question in regards to just a little bit more about yourself and the community college you attended. So can you please just tell us briefly about your college search process and the resources that you may have used that help you learn more about universities and colleges when you were applying, or if it was a couple years ago, just tell us a little bit more about the resources you used.
Yeah, so I'll start off. So at SMC, there was actually a plethora of resources that I was able to use. There was like our college counselors, which I really did take advantage of. I would go to them, I think like twice a semester, just making sure that like I was on the right track to transfer to a UC. And I know the website that they helped us a lot with was assist.org, which you'll be able to like input your college classes and see what UCs accept those credits. That really did help, as well as my Latino Center at my community college. I was able to obtain advising from them as well. And through the Latino Center and through like college counselors and other clubs that I was a part of at SMC, I was able to see like what universities I was really looking into, what UCs mainly. And I know like through my college counselor back at SMC, he's actually a Berkeley alum. So he just kind of like helped me make sure that like my PIQs, my personal insight questions were like really me, you know? So like making sure that like I had another set of eyes taking a look at those questions.
I'll say for me, I was fortunate that after I graduated high school, I got invited to participate in a program at UCLA, which was called the site program. So it was basically a residential program where I basically resided in dorms, and it was just a week of just not only being introduced to different colleges, but also just empowering, right? Getting to know various communities, a lot of different political issues, and just making a connection. And for me, that kind of like allowed me to really just understand what it took to get to AUC. And from there, as soon as I stepped foot on campus at Glendale Community College, I right away, connected with the transfer center. I created my academic plan, referred to assist all the time. Like if there was a course I needed, I checked there to see if it was transferable, if I needed for my major. And then for me, I was also very fortunate that my community college offered a basically Northern California college tour kind of deal over spring break, in which I definitely attended. And we visited UC Santa Barbara, UC Berkeley, UC Davis, as well as UC Santa Cruz. And for me, these are campuses that I never would have, been able to visit on my own. And I was very fortunate for the opportunity.
Hi guys, this is Stephanie again. My story is a little similar like Evelio as well. Mount San Antonio College actually has the same program. It's called the NorCal Trip for transfer students. And so when I was applying, being a full-time student and being a full-time worker, it was kind of a little hard to be able to get involved in as many clubs and stuff. And so I relied heavily on the transfer center at my school. I became really good close friends with the director, the one in charge. She helped me a lot. She read over my PIQs. So definitely our journeys will be a lot different into getting into, your dream school. But what I definitely learned is that is what makes us unique. And so for me, it was, putting into my application, everything that I did differently. I definitely also rely, like Jackie, heavily on Assist. I feel like Assist was kind of like the to-go resource in order for us to like figure out where we were standing, especially as a first gen student. It was one of those things where we're figuring it out as it goes. So definitely I recommend Assist and your transfer center if you have one at your school.
Thank you so much for sharing. And just a quick reminder to everyone who's here, assist.org is a great resource that all of you can use to see what classes are transferable to the community college that you are and to the UC. So feel free to use that resource. I was able to include assist.org in the chat, so I'll be sure to drop that link very shortly. So with that, that's a great segue to the next question. Now that you talked a little bit more about the resources you use, can you tell us a little bit more about how you decided on your career choice or your major, or did you switch your major? Feel free to go into depth as to what that looked like for you.
Yeah, so I decided to study political science, just kind of, I think when I was like 16, definitely when like the Trump administration came in, I was like, this definitely is not okay, at least on my end. And I decided to really like I decided to read a lot of political theory in high school. And through political theory, I thought that, oh my God, I actually really do enjoy learning about all of these political theorists and stuff, and just about like our government in general and the structures that come within it. So that's why I chose political science. And when I was looking at colleges, I was like, well, there really is no other place than Berkeley for a political science student, because there's so much history and there's just so much, like with the Durable Liberation Front or this free speech movement, when you really like dive into that. As a poli-sci student, I was like fascinated. I was like, there really is no other place for me than Berkeley. And when I went to community college, I did kind of consider doing like the STEM way, because marine biology is also something that I'm like really passionate about. But I decided to kind of stick with poli-sci because I really did want to go to law school, and it just opens a lot of other doors, especially if I got a degree from Berkeley. So I did not change my major. I did think about it my first year when I was in community college of taking another different route in like your math requirements, because like for me, all I needed to complete was like math 54, which is stats, instead of like calc. So it really for me, it was like, am I going to take more math or less math? So I decided to do less math. But I have no regrets. But yeah, thank you.
I would say for me, I did end up majoring in sociology. So in high school, solid student, B average student, and I took a course in ceramics, right? I really loved that and thought, I was going to be a ceramicist. That's what I wanted to do. And then I mentioned I attended the SITE program, so Summer Intensive Transfer Experience at UCLA. And I was talking to one of the mentors, and, he basically questioned me, right? Like, what are you going to do with, with your degree in ceramics, like all that stuff, right? What else are you interested? And so he made the suggestion of checking out sociology, right? Because myself, I'm very passionate also about working with individuals, working with people, and just being a resource, being an ally and all that. And so I stuck with it. I took all the necessary coursework. I found it fascinating because sociology just explores all these different areas of society, and all the things that are happening that are unjust, right? And so when I transferred to Berkeley, I had opportunities to basically go and volunteer with the Public Service Center and go down to New Orleans, which then, of course, influenced my desire to go into education, because I was confronted with a situation where we had young kids who were basically going back to school and they were angry, right? And they were basically just giving up on life and stuff. And I always found that just troubling. And so for me, I used my degree in sociology to go into education with the hopes of trying to inspire younger folks and trying to help support them to get where they need to be at, or provide options for them and just be a support for them.
Thank you all. And there was a follow-up question asked by one of our attendees. We have someone here who attends Santa Monica, and they would like to know a little bit more about what the transition felt like going from a quarterly system school to a semester. If there are any challenges or anything you'd like to share, or maybe tips and advice on what that looks like.
Thank you for that question. So when I went to SMC, which was literally like last year, I did not think that the transition was going to be hard, only because, as you know, we do not need to take winter classes at SMC. You kind of only need to be enrolled in that spring and fall semester. However, it was kind of a little bit of a change because now you're in like those like 16-week classes. Like here at Cal. And honestly, I really have been enjoying it. Only because like what I have to do is like really like reading heavy. It's reading, like I have to read hundreds of pages a week, and like I can kind of fall behind on that. So it's nice to be able to like have those weeks where I'm able to catch up, like either before midterms or after midterms or before a project or something like that. Here at Cal, we also do have something called RRR week, which is like dead week for us. And I really enjoyed this, and I really wish we had something like this at SMC. And honestly, at every college just ever, which is basically the week before finals. You have a week where there's no assignments, there's no tests, there's no class. You just kind of study for your final, which can only be allowed because we are on a semester system. We do have space for that like allocation of time and stuff. So I personally have really been enjoying the semester system. I think it's really beneficial for my learning, but I think that everyone else is different. I just don't think that I would be able to fully grasp certain topics with like 8 to 10 weeks of instruction instead of 16 to 18.
Thank you for that. Anyone else do the quarterly switch to the semester and would like to share? Good. Okay. Thank you for that question. So this question is geared towards the sociology department. So I know, Ibelio, you study sociology. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about your experience within the department, or anything that you would like to share about the type of classes you took as when you were a student?
Yeah, so the types of courses I ended up taking. So in sociology, the major prep that you'll be taking would be Intro to Sociology and Statistics. Once you transfer, you will need to take a kind of research method course so that you're able to declare your major. So usually that's the first semester, in addition to basically a two-part year-long kind of course that course so that you're able to declare your major. And so from there you basically go on and take other courses for upper division that really just kind of piqued your interest. So some of the offerings we had was Sociology of Education, Sociology of Economics. Myself, I ended up taking urban sociology, which really we explored all these different areas when it came to looking at sociology through, studying urban settings. So we basically talked about white flight and how during a particular era in our history, there was a lot of folks who basically were of white descent who basically were leaving urban settings, and thus you had a lot of films that mimic that, where it painted urban settings as very dangerous, as a lot of gang members, violence, all that stuff, right? And so we studied that. We also studied water and just how water is used in various countries. So we basically looked at what's happening in India and how you have these kind of panels and stuff where folks are basically fighting for water so that they can basically grow their vegetation. And that's just a handful of different types of courses I ended up taking. And it's really amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Belio, for sharing. And then this is a great segue into the type of involvement all of you are currently in or were in. So we'll start with Jackie, if you can start us off and just quickly share what you're involved in, how you found those organizations and clubs, and some tips that you would share with students on how to find their own community here on campus.
Alrighty, so I'm involved in quite a things. I'm involved in Greek life. I'm in Alpha Chi Omega. I kind of found this like through like virtual realm of being in school, and I really wanted to find like a community. And honestly, I really do enjoy Greek life. It's been something that I didn't think I would enjoy, but it definitely is a really nice community, at least for me. I'm a part of Rally Committee, which is our spirit crew here on campus. So if you ever have the pleasure of being at Berkeley's campus and you see like the blue and gold people, that's us. We kind of just hype everyone up at the games or like the rallies and stuff. We kind of hang out with Oski. It's really cool, really nice. I'm also a Cal Alumni Association scholar. So like I'm a TAP scholar with Cal Alumni, and basically I kind of found this application, which is if you guys are potential transfer students for this next upcoming year, this is very important, but basically when you get admitted, the application kind of does open up, and I believe you have a couple of months to submit your stuff, a couple letters of recommendations, and it's kind of really quickly after you get admitted. It's during that summer, so do not miss that time span. This scholarship has really, really helped me. I'm also part of Berkeley B-Side, which is an alternative music magazine here at Berkeley. It has nothing to do with my major, nor does Rallycom or Greek life, which is good because I like to keep my life separate, you know. And I found Berkeley B-Side because I wanted to kind of explore what types of communities I could be a part of. So I do have like my Greek life community, and like that can get kind of hectic at times. So I wanted something that was very different. And Berkeley B-Side was definitely something that I really do enjoy. You guys should take a look at the Instagram because it's really cool. We have like select Spotify playlists for everyone. So I really do recommend, but I'll pass it on to Adelia.
I would say I would like to pass it on to Stephanie because we haven't heard from her just yet, so I'll go after.
Thank you for that, Evelio. So I'm part of the SPMP program. I'm a mentor there. I came across this class because I believe it's a decal. So a decal is taught by other students. I love being a mentor in that class because that class pairs you up with community college students who are trying to transfer to Berkeley. And so you get a mentor, and that mentor kind of guides you through the application process. And then at the same time answers any questions you have, helps you with your PIQs. So currently I have 8 mentees from 8 different community colleges, and they are in the process of applying this semester. So that's definitely, it's been fun. It's been challenging, definitely. But what I love the most is that I get to be the person that they go to for any help or any references. I know I would have loved to have that, like to have that person when I was transferring. And so being able to do that for them, it's definitely amazing, and I'm loving it. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order on this one, but I was a Golden Bear orientation leader. So I was that person that when you transfer and then you get to Berkeley, I was the one taking you all over the place, all over Berkeley, walking you left and right, walking you from the beginning of the campus to the end, just so you could meet the school, just so you could meet other people, get acquaintance with everyone. And then now I am a student coordinator. So I technically will be, I skipped, there's orientation leader, and then there's orientation mentor, and then student coordinator. So I did not have the chance to be a mentor because I'm a transfer student, and you need to be at least here 3 years. But now I'm a coordinator. That means that for those students transferring in and coming in for fall 2022, I will actually, I'm behind the scenes, and we're planning all the events that all of those students will be partaking in. So it's a lot of work. So that lets you know, like, you know, we here at Berkeley, we like to be prepared so much that we're planning 1 year in advance for all of you guys coming, and for all of you guys interested in coming to Berkeley. So you guys can have a perfect experience, a fun experience, and remember that you guys belong here.
Can you tell us a little bit more? There's a question from the audience asking, what is MPMP and how do you get involved in that? How can you join?
So SPMP is, again, it's a program for transfer students who are interested in coming to Berkeley. The way you get involved is you apply for it. So at the beginning of each semester, there's an application being sent to the schools. And you just fill it up. You fill it out, and then you let us know, hey, I like to learn more about Berkeley. So you get paired up with a student who is a mentor here. And you just become really good friends with them. They get to know you, you get to know them, you get to ask. They will be your point of contact, literally for anything you need about Berkeley. And it's just an application. It's a Google Docs application. If you guys are comfortable, I can give Cecilia my email, and then you guys can just reach out to me and I will send you the link. That way you guys are ready for next semester or even this semester, because I believe we're still looking for students who may want to join, because not everybody who applies definitely follows through. So we have some spots open, but it's very, very helpful. The students, out of 4 students that applied last year, only, well, 2 of them got accepted to Berkeley, because the other 2 didn't apply because they needed 1 more year, but they are back with me again. So they will be applying this year. So I'm very excited to help them out with their application.
Thank you for that. And in regards to any type of involvement, I just want to put a plug in for students. When you are admitted to our campus, there's what we call Calpalooza, where there's an opportunity for you to meet organizations, talk to them. I'm not sure if this next year is going to be in person, but as we all know, with COVID-19, things are changing. But as of this year, students are in person, they're in class. But in the past year, they did have it as a virtual event. So even though it may be in person or virtually, we're still going to give you that opportunity to meet organizations, talk to other students. And one of the things that we always get asked from our prospective students is, how do you feel comfortable on campus? When you're there, how do you find your community? One way that we always tell our students is, when you are in your housing, your apartments, that's one way you find a community. So if you can each share what that looks like for you. Did you decide to live on campus, off campus, apartments, what your living situation is, especially because all of you are coming from further than the Berkeley, Oakland area. So if you would like to share, or any tips in regards to housing, feel free to share those now. And we'll start with Jackie.
Yeah, so my community, I transferred in during the pandemic. That was terrible. I did not like that at all, but I did move to Berkeley, and I lived in an off-campus apartment, and I loved my roommates. I am still friends with them, all that good stuff. However, I was kind of like searching for more, especially like as a transfer student, you have like such short time to like be able to experience college to at its fullest extent. And I really did want that, which is another reason why I did decide to join Greek life, because now I do live in my sorority house, and it's just, I'm living with 60 other people that are very similar to me. So it's like quite literally I have 60 other friends that I'm able to just go upstairs and talk to at dinner, or anywhere, and like whenever I'm giving campus tours and stuff, because I also do give campus tours as a campus ambassador. I'll like hear like my name, Jackie, like at least like 10 times, like every single tour, because like that community, like this community has just made it like my reach farther. I also do think that it really did help for me, at least in terms of making other friends apart from like these communities, is kind of my classes. But I did have to like really like break out of my shell for a minute there, especially as a transfer student. That imposter syndrome is real. You really don't think that they want to like hear from you, but they do. At least I don't know. I make sure they hear from me now. And I think that definitely has opened a bunch of doors and friendships for me. It's just kind of like trying to get out of my shell and kind of like hit the ground running, especially this last month when we've been in person. I've met some really incredible people. And something about Berkeley that I really do like is, although it's such a big campus and it can feel big at times, it really isn't. I feel like it I see the same people constantly, and it's like I'm not trying to see them. I'm not trying to see them on campus, but like we just happen to run across each other like twice or three times a day, and I'm like, what the heck? But your community, once you're here, you will find your community, and that community will just keep expanding. But also like those people, they're truly like going to be there for a while, and I don't know. I really do enjoy that. So yeah, that's my piece, and I will pass on to Abilio.
So for myself, I did live in the dormitories when I did transfer. So I lived in the all supposed to be all transfer hallway. But of course we did have some first year students and all that. I'll be honest, it was okay. I did have a couple issues with my roommates. But most of the folks who I am friends with actually did live in the dormitory. Other place where I actually found basically my community was in the public service center where I was heavily involved with. I was involved with leading trips down to New Orleans and all that. So I found a lot of like-minded individuals who wanted to give back, wanted to serve various communities and all that. Stephanie?
Mine's a little different. So I live on campus, but not really. Since I am a reentry student, I'm not that old though. But I'm also married. It kind of puts me in a different category. I am in a family housing. So basically you get an entire apartment for yourself. It's pretty cool. And you kind of live in a bubble because family housing actually is for those that have family, those that have kids, those that are married, and graduate and PhD students. So you're surrounded only by students who are at Berkeley, but you're not living with them. So you have your own apartment. I currently live in a 2-bedroom apartment plus an office because it's pretty cool. And we live in the 3rd floor. So yeah, I love that about Berkeley, and that's why Berkeley became my first choice, because it had a place for everyone. So like there is no such thing. I think like when I did the trip, I loved how welcoming actually Berkeley felt, right? I think a lot of people get scared that maybe Berkeley won't be welcoming of transfers, but you do create like your own community. And like Jackie, I transferred in the pandemic. And so like, it kind of felt like it added that little bit of stress on top of everything we had to adjust to. But Berkeley is very accepting. Like there's programs for everyone. And that's what I love. It's just like there's housing for everyone.
Thank you all for sharing. And someone did in fact ask like how welcoming the campus was to transfer students versus first years. And I over and over again, as we host these panels, we keep hearing that everyone's very welcoming, they're willing to share. And sometimes you hear those like, oh, is Berkeley like really cutthroat where no one's going to welcome you? Like, that's not it. It's just the people have made up these myths and rumors. And once you get here, you really do see that community. And even with staff, there are a ton of resources on campus. So I will go ahead and start with Jackie. Just kind of share a couple of the resources that you love to use on campus, whether it's the Student Learning Center or the gym, if you like to work out, or specific libraries or favorite places that you love on campus. So we'll go ahead and start with you, and then we'll go around with the others.
Yeah, so my favorite places on campus currently, well, first of all, I'd like to plug the Free Speech Movement Cafe. I get so much work done there. It's like this like cafe area where I get my coffee, of course, and then I go sit outside and I just grind on whatever I'm working on, and it's really nice because it's outdoors. But I also do like to just kind of like walk on over to Doe Library, which is our like Hogwarts style library. It is really pretty there, and it just kind of gets me in like the I am a pre-law student, I should get everything together type of mode. I really do enjoy Doe, Free Speech Movement Cafe. I do go to the RSF at time, which is our recreational sports facility. Right now they're not doing any more appointments, which is really nice. So you're just able to walk in and like get your little 15-minute workout done on my end. One thing about Cal too, we're on a hill. So like, to be honest, your workout is just going to class And like for me, my workout is going home. Like I have to walk up that hill like 4 different times a day, and I'm like, dang. Let's see what else. I also do really enjoy the Multicultural Center. I feel like I've met some pretty dope people there, and like it's just a nice place to kind of like study at times when everything else is just kind of like packed. Um, and also there's like a bunch of resources in there, little pamphlets that you can take and stuff. Other than that, I also really do enjoy the stadium, which is like our football stadium. I work in the stadium, so it's like Correct Visitor Center. So if you guys ever visit campus, go there. I will probably be there. Um, just kind of answering phones. I really enjoy it there. It's really nice. Our stadium is really beautiful. Yeah, I pass on to whoever's next.
So for me, resources I use, obviously the RSF, so our gym. I also heavily utilize the transfer center. So go in there, study, talk with Lorena, who's extraordinary. I also did a lot of my studying at the Free Speech, cafe as well as the main stacks. Because it gets very quiet in there, and you could just like, put on your headphones and just focus and just, take care of what you had to take care of. So that'll be for me.
For me, so I definitely agree with Jackie. I was not used to the amount of walking that you get to do at Berkeley. I currently take a class in the Haas Business School, and I literally have to hurry like to the end of the school. Like you only got 10 minutes. You only got the Berkeley time 10 minutes. And so like it's let's just say you're gonna end up with really nice cabs. I love Moffat. So I love that Moffat has like the free speech movement cafe is in Moffat. And I love how in Moffat you have two floors where it's like one where it's loud, that people are going to be talking, people are going to be working. And then there's the fifth floor in which is like everybody's quiet. So like everybody's keeping their voice. So I love how there's like flexibility between, hey, like do I work better in an environment when people are talking, or like do I need silence? I really, really love, just like Jackie, the free speech movement cafe. They have this really good sandwich that I've been loving as of recently, and their white hot chocolate is really, really good too. And you can study there, like if you want, like it's beautiful. Like it has a really beautiful view on the outside. And I love being able to talk. So since I'm a psychology major, I love using my advisor, my psychology advisor, as a resource. She is just amazing. Like the one I go see, she's very welcoming. She's always ready for any questions. So yeah, those are probably like the most I utilize. And and there's like one more, but I can't really remember, but I think it's called USP. I may be wrong though, but yes.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I see your hand up, Evelio. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also wanted to plug in the various cafes around campus. So they're near campus, but they're not a part of campus, but they're like basically trend. They're like staples in the Berkeley community. So on the chat we did put two. So Cafe Milano. Cool thing about them is they serve amazing coffee, they have pastries, but they also play classical music, So if you want to just go there and study and listen to classical music, you could do so. There's also Cafe Strada, which is up the hill from Cafe Milano. So, you're taken care of in terms of cafes.
Thank you. And in that regards, can you all share some of like your favorite restaurants or maybe boba spots around campus, or favorite places where you like to go and hang out that's off campus, or what that community looks like for you? So we'll go ahead and start with Jackie.
Yeah, so personally, I really like exploring the Bay Area. Only because I'm already in Berkeley during the week, so I might as well go out of Berkeley. But we do have a really nice public transport system, which is like the BART system, and I'm able to get to SF in like 25 minutes. And so I really, really do enjoy kind of taking like a personal day, whether it's by myself or like with a couple other people, and heading to San Francisco and just kind of exploring what the area gets to like give us. I also really do like the city called Pacifica, which is like this like beach town near San Francisco. I adore it. There's a Taco Bell cantina there. Really cool. I also like around Berkeley though, there's this place, and if you get anything out of this, is cheese board pizza. It is the best pizza ever. It's a staple, if you will. As well as I really do enjoy sweet green, which is like some like really expensive salads, but like I cannot make a salad like that. No matter how hard I could lie to myself, it's worth to spend the money. Um, I really do enjoy getting just coffee at any little cafe that there is. Highly do recommend that. Other than that, I really actually do like hanging out on campus because there's like a lot of like cool spaces that you could just kind of like sit on the grass. Like yesterday, I would literally was just laying on Memorial Glade, trying to just like take a breather from my midterm. So yeah, that's what I like to do, at least with my like free time around the area.
For me, places that I like to go to when I was a student was the Brazil Cafe, which once in a while I'll go there. They have these amazing tri-tip sandwiches with cilantro sauce, and they have like this mango drink. Oh my goodness, I'm getting hungry. Think about that. Also spent a lot of time in Shattuck. Basically, I'm a huge movie buff. I love movies, and there's like three different like theaters like really close to one another. And then of course there's all these different places that you can go and eat, such as Angelique's, where it's all Cajun food. There's Le Note, which is like French food. Just to name a few, right? There's also the Blue Door Cafe, which have these amazing like what do you call it? Nutella hot chocolate. Yeah.
So personally, since I'm a little ways from Berkeley, the village, well, it's called the village, the university apartments for our family. The village is like 3 miles away. But you'd be surprised how much difference can happen between the food's closer to Berkeley and then the food's closer to the village. And so for me, as of recently, and since we're now back in person, I started loving, so there's this Korean hot dogs by the school. It's called Seoul Hot Dog. Oh my goodness. I mean, like I could eat there like a lot every day for dinner. They make them so good and they're so big and they're not even expensive. So I definitely love that around school. I love rare tea. I know that not everybody likes rare tea, but I love rare tea. Like I think their bobas are so good. They're never too sweet. They're never like not sweet enough. Other than that, like I usually just order food from that's closer to my place. And as of recently, like I've been in love with pho. And so we've been ordering a lot of like Monster pho. Like it's so good. I mean, but it's a little ways from the school, definitely. But yeah, if you guys ever get a chance, like you guys, the trip is worth it to go to pho. They give you so much food too.
Thank you all for sharing. And just like Ibelio said, we're all here getting hungry. Even if it's something as sweet green, their salads are amazing. And just with that, that was the last question that we will ask today. We're almost out of time. But I know, Jackie, because you are a campus ambassador, can you please share with students how they can visit the campus and what that process looks like in regards to getting a tour?
Yeah, so I'm actually about to drop a link. I dropped a link. Oh wait, I think I need the attendees. I'm gonna drop a link for you guys to schedule a campus tour. If you are interested, I would highly go and like schedule it because they do get filled up pretty quickly with potential students. Just sign up for those tours, but there also is like self-guided tours. And if you just go up to the Correct Visitor Center, so literally just UC Berkeley Visitor Center, we can give you like more information. There's many others like me there. And you can give yourself a self-guided tour. However, we do have tours every single day, including sometimes on the weekend. So definitely just schedule it there. You cannot just come and be like, I want a tour. Probably not going to happen. But I really do hope maybe one day in this next year, I get to see one of you guys from this panel on one of my tours. I am actually very awkward in person, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah,
Thank you for that information. And just quickly before I end today's webinar, go ahead and copy paste what's in the chat. You all saw the information for SPMP. You also see the link for the walking tours. And again, this session was recorded, so we will be posting that link and that recording on the Discover Berkeley website. We do have upcoming sessions and workshops coming up, so feel free to check out that link and sign up. It was a pleasure being with you all today. I do want to say just thank you to the panelists for sharing their stories and experiences. Although we do have some questions that are outstanding, there is also a link in the chat where you can submit your questions to us. So with that, thank you all for being here today. We hope you continue to stay safe and take care. And as Jackie mentioned, we hope to meet you in the future. So go Bears and have a great evening.